I can't say much because I'm not allowed to say much. You don't need a lot of money to make good films. You need a lot of heart and good, So I become the actor who acts in the most expensive series on earth. Popular platforms like Amazon and Netflix and Hotstar, they need to even open up more. And we all have to together make a choice that do we want to live like this?
So now, as I told you, we have been joined by so many of your fans. And if you don't mind, they would like to ask you a few questions. And,
Sure.
and I will just introduce them. So to begin with, we have Madhuparna. Madhuparna has joined us from Sydney, Australia. And Madhuparna, if you're ready, you can please go ahead and ask your question to Adils.
Sure, thanks, Shubhadev. Hello, Adil sir. This is Madhuparna.
Hey.
First of all, thank you. First of all, thanks for being here with us today. It was really amazing to listen to your views on all the topics. So yeah, I just like to hear some of your views on some of your movie characters. It's just we have seen you in so many father-child relationships in your movies. Like Mukti Bhavan, and then What Will People Say, Sunrise as well. So I just like to hear from you how different you feel you are as a father from these father characters.
What time is it in Sydney now? It's pretty late, I guess, no?
It's 10 o'clock, 10:10.
Oh, okay, not that late, yeah. Well, I guess I have bits and pieces from all the characters within me, in active me, I'm not talking about the, which are buried deep down, but in my active personality, which is easily accessible, or being, or which gets those which will get triggered very soon, instantly while I lead my life. I have all of it. But I'm on my toes and I'm vigilant. I'm trying to be vigilant. I fail miserably quite often to be able to detect before even it sort of comes out, the tendencies which I do not prefer in the other also. The things that I criticize, or not necessarily vocally, but I don't like about the other. The things I don't like about the other is within me. That's why I see it. And so I try my best to sort of not suppress it, but to look at it and face it head on and let it go. I do not judge the qualities which I don't like about myself, so that I don't judge you as well if you have those. And it's a long journey of re-educating oneself. While I came to know, and with my experience not reading books, that everyone has every quality within themselves. Some are buried, some are active. And I have it, all the dark thoughts and all the beautiful thoughts and all the tender feelings, all the brutal feelings that you have seen in films that, that I embody it, or I bring it in the surface to, for the character that I play. All of it, I have it, and I own it, and I take responsibility of them. And do I practice it in everyday life? Unknowingly, maybe sometimes. I don't know at all. But what comes to my radar, those ones which sort of I try to catch it in the radar, in my conscious radar, I try to just let it pass and let it subside and let it sort of disappear. Yeah. I don't know if I have answered your question, Madhuparna.
No, yeah, sir. There was no question. I just wanted to hear from you.
Yeah.
How you feel. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I feel very lucky and enriched as well that I get to do that as as an actor, that that's my business. That's what, not the business. I'm not talking about the commercial part of it, but I'm saying that's the work that I'm constantly being able to sort of be aware of what I feel. And it's a very privileged place as a human being. It's a life skill that I really cherish, that I have.
Next, we have Piali joining us from Kolkata. Piali, please go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you, Shubhadeep. Hi, Adil sir.
Hi.
Hi. First of all, I would like to thank you for providing us with this opportunity to interact directly with you, especially in such pandemic and gloomy times. Sir, I'm curious to know from you that you have worked in multiple film industries like the Indian movie industry, Hollywood, and even regional cinema with diverse backgrounds and different budgets. You have actually worked in one of the costliest web series ever, if I may say, as in Star Trek Discovery. So what is your experience in working amongst such varied cinema topologies?
Oh God, there's so many. I mean, it's like, if I put it this way, very simply, I guess, would be that the metaphor that Indian artistic wisdom says that you have to become like water to fit into the patra. If the patra is a cup, you know, and the water is the actor who fits in. To be able to become like water as a person is the hardest thing to do, to have transparency and fluidity and the ability to quench your thirst also. So I look at it this way. When I work with like Star Trek, you mentioned, is the most expensive series on earth now. So I become the actor who acts in the most expensive series on earth. Then recently I acted in a film called Lorne the Flaneur. And I asked them, do you have money to fly me to Shillong? And they said, oh, yeah, we'll fly you to Shillong, no problem, sir. I'm like, okay. So I said, I'm ready to take the train as well. And they said, no, we have enough money to fly you. And my transportation was a two-wheeler and a scooter, which the character drives in the film. And that was it, you know. So then I'm playing the role of an actor who acts in a no-budget film or love budget film. And I enjoy it thoroughly. So I look at it that way. And it's a great opportunity to be able to also enjoy it and to be able to do it without any qualms or without any feeling, oh, I'm doing a service to them and all that nonsense. I do it for myself and it's only for my satisfaction. It's nothing to do with that I'm contributing to regional cinema and all that. People say, I'm like, you think like that, but I'm just doing it for selfish reason because I love it. As simple as that. There's nothing to do with anything else. I enjoyed it thoroughly when I worked in Shillong for 16 days and the young ones, you know, like there's the most interesting part. So there's a scene where I have to buy a bottle of booze and it's raining. So there was no rain. So they used these cutters, you know, wooden planks, small ones like, 2 feet by 3 feet. And they made holes in bottles like this and they were like pouring water. Okay. And I'm telling them, go do it this way and don't start the camera. Okay, fine. And then action, and I act as if there's water and I'm buying the booze, booze bottle. And it's so fascinating to live that experience. And we just laughed away to glory when we saw the scene. I'm like, hey, you're pouring water, And I think I'm one of the luckiest actors, as I said in the beginning, in India, that I'm being offered these roles. I don't know what else to say. It's a great experience and I love it. Like right now, I'm in Glasgow. I went for quarantine for 14 days and then I started shooting and I'm enjoying it completely.
That's such an humbling experience. Is there anything that you think that Hollywood might learn from Indian cinema, or maybe is there something that we might learn from Hollywood?
So the Hollywood should learn to make smaller films and also not to sort of take over the world. Let the other countries have their films and not to take over all the cinema halls. It is changing now, that's what I said, that all of us will face the music. Like Tenet got released in cinema halls, a few days ago, and I watched it. It's wonderful to watch it on a big screen, but Tenet could only show their film on big screen because they have the money. What about the film that I acted in, which has no money? How will it be shown on a big screen? Does my my film doesn't deserve to be shown on big screen? Or only those who have the money, they can show it on the big screen? These are legitimate questions that we should ask, So they should leave some spaces for films which are made with a lot of love and craft, but not necessarily with a lot of money. Jagad Depardieu, the French actor, who, when I worked with him in Life of Pi, he said, you don't need a lot of money to make good films. You need a lot of heart and good, you need a lot of knowledge and wisdom and knowledge of the craft to make good films. I produced Satyajit Ray's film, Ghore Baire. And he was the producer of the film, I was told by him. And then that's when he said that you don't need a lot of money to make good films. Not necessarily, no. So yeah, we should learn from each other. And I think Bollywood could possibly take the drive, the attitude of not letting it go till they've, have sort of reached the sense, how do I say, that they have, there is an attitude of, theek hai, chal jayega,
Right.
That attitude, will do it. Oh, it doesn't matter. It matters, what kind of film you make.
Yes.
Don't leave it. The details are important, and every detail is important. And so the Hollywood films I've seen, I worked in a few of them, so they really strive for excellence, which is amazing. And the punctuality, the pre-production happens. Like I got the script of Life of Pi 3-4 months in advance. They send me crutch, which I have to walk as Pi's father 2 months before, so that I can practice it at home. The driver who is going to pick me up at from the hotel on the first day of the shoot at 5:55 in the morning. The schedule came to me like 2 months before, and everything was like clockwork. And then you don't need to worry about anything. You just act. Here, अच्छा गाड़ी आया नहीं है अभी तक, देखते हैं, will it come? Sir, थोड़ा सा late हो गया आज, अब कल करते हैं. So all that. I think we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn from all these films that they make in the Western world.
Time is of essence. Thank you so much, sir, for your response.
Thank you, Piali. Now we have Moni Shankar joining us from Bangalore. Moni, please go ahead and ask your question to Adil sir.
Thanks, Shubhadeep. Hello, Adil sir. How are you?
Hi, Moni. By the way, I'm not knighted by the Queen. So don't call me sir. You can call me Adilda, which is better.
Sure. Hi, Adilda. So it's a real pleasure to have the opportunity to talk to you in person. And thanks to Filmkopath for that. So I have a question which has surfaced from the current situation. So since the breakout of pandemic, the cinema halls and the multiplexes are not in action for some time. And we also don't know when it will resume again. We hope it does at the earliest. But in this difficult time, we have also seen the advances made by the OTT platform, isn't it? So it is actually offering a very good opportunity for the movies to get released in this situation on time to some extent, yes. And however, the biggest advantage I see is this platform does not discriminate between a low budget and a high budget film, between a masala film and a parallel film. So a small budget film doesn't need to fight for a screen release on a Friday afternoon, isn't it? So do you think the filmmakers who always wanted to create quality films were some kind of uncertain about how many people they can reach, or like that, now they will feel more confident and come up with more passion, and we shall see a tide of more meaningful films? Do you think so?
Yes, I think so. I think so. It is happening already. It is already happening. And, but still, I guess it needs, which I'm sure that is going to again open up. And there are more OTT platforms which are gaining momentum slowly. For example, there is a OTT platform called Movie Saints, which are, that platform is acquiring a lot of smaller, even smaller films. There is another platform called, what is it? Mubi, of course, you would know about Mubi already. Acquiring films which are definitely very, very obscure and like so-called from the other side of the spectrum. Popular platforms like Amazon and Netflix and Hotstar, they need to even open up more. I feel that for some reason, I feel that I was expecting Netflix to be more careful in curating the films that they choose from India. And but I guess that economy, finances are very, very important to sustain it as well. I completely understand that. But I think these two main platforms need to open up a little more towards amazing content which are coming out from different parts of the country, from younger filmmakers. And there should be a mechanism in place that they could submit it, and then that there is a body which will watch it, actually watch it, and not because it is recommended by somebody they know. There should be an independent mechanism that every film which is submitted should be watched, because that's the reason that I keep my Twitter, Facebook and Instagram DM open, so that I don't miss out on a first-time filmmaker who is a gold mine, who has something to offer to the world.
True,
and
sir.
Mukti Bhavan came like that almost. One of my friends just sent that this is the guy who wrote me this small little text message, and I loved the subject, and I said, great, let's do it without reading the script. Intuitively, I felt. Similarly, this Shillong movie that I did, it is again through Twitter and Instagram DM, I don't want anybody to come in between me and the filmmakers or the creative people. So OTT platforms, I can understand that there will be thousands of submissions. Then how do you then, where do you have the time? But you should have the time. You have the money to have the time. You have the money to hire people. If you take it as only a money making company, then I have a problem with it, because you are actually sitting in a very responsible, powerful position, and you have to have the responsibility how to, use that power. You must have it. Spend money on scanning the country to get good content from across the country, and give opportunities to great filmmakers, maybe unknown first-timers. I don't think these 2 or 3 platforms which are very popular, like Hotstar and Netflix and Amazon, have that. That they should have every region, they should have a body, and where people will just watch and recommend, as again, I said that, again, you will say, oh, there will be biases. Yes. Which film should come and not, but at least we should start the process and choose people, those who do not practice nepotism.
Right. And on today's date, if we go to Amazon Prime and search for Assamese film, how many do we get? Not much.
No, we don't. So that's what I'm saying, that region-wise, state-wise, they should have representative, not sitting in Bombay and, do a centralized scouting. That doesn't work. Yeah.
Get you, sir. And this conversation has been so lively and thought-provoking with you. I mean, the whole 10 year. So I got another question from this conversation itself. As you mentioned that during the World War II, they were making films to motivate people to join the army. And again,
Correct.
it kind of a self-correction maybe, or maybe not, maybe made by different people. USA itself made films like Forrest Gump or Full Metal Jacket, right? But in
Sorry?
India, Full Metal Jacket or Forrest
Yes.
Gump, yeah, those kind of films have also been made. So that shows other side of the world, and you don't feel that much motivated as a joining army anymore. But when you come to Indian film, we still see films which are based on jingoism and becoming huge blockbusters. So do you think this will ever change in India?
I believe humanity is constantly evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truth. And like without the massacre done by Hitler, we wouldn't have had UN, United Nations.
True, sir.
We wouldn't have this civilized Europe, European Union. We wouldn't have had. They would still be fighting with each other. Things happen, drastic thing happens for the humanity to see that, this is not the path that we should take. We should come together. That's the evolutionary process, according to me. That we learn, and in crisis, we learn faster if we do. It can also bring out the worst in people, but at least when it brings out the worst, we see it. Oh my God, we didn't know that we had it.
Yes.
All the films that you mentioned had blockbusters and it had earned a lot of money. People feel that way. And is it a right feeling? I don't know. As Israeli people, the right wingers, they will say yes. We have the right to have our country. We had been thrown away thousands years ago, 2,000, 3,000 years ago by these people. We believe in this land. They have the right to say that because they believe in that, and they are right. Now the liberals will say, but no, but you should also respect the Palestine side, and the Palestinians say, we were here before you came in, and they're also right. Now, which is better right? I don't think they're wrong. Anybody is wrong. It depends upon which aspects of humanity that we will think that, oh, it is maybe finer than the rustier or the rudimentary, because we all have it. In the deepest of crises, your true self will appear. Till then, you wouldn't know who you are. It's very difficult. When you are at the gunpoint, people behave differently.
Sure.
So it is important that this crisis that you say that we are going through right now because of COVID and other political views, and which we call the left or right wing or whatever you call it. These are very important phases of a country, I think. And we all have to together make a choice that do we want to live like this? Is it the better way to live like this? Some people will say, of course not. I said, how do you know that? Till you have gone through it. No, it is narrower, it is this. Yes, but don't you practice yourself that particular aspect in your life? You have never practiced it? In your personal life, aren't you narrow quite often yourself? So when it comes out as a community, then you see it, oh my God. But you also dismiss, like the liberals will say, oh, they're stupid, or they're this narrow. And the right wingers will say, oh, these people are narrow. So what is the difference? I don't see the difference. If you're pointing finger at the other, then they themselves have the right to point finger at you. Where is the dialogue then? We do not. So art should play that part to bring us together, not pointing fingers, but to really have a dialogue that what is it that we want as a race, human race, as a country, as a nation? what do we really want? That's the job of an artist, not to point fingers at each other.
Thank you, sir.
So that's what I want to say. Yeah.
Aurithro is there from Perth, and Aurithro will ask the next question. Aurithro, please, if you're ready.
Hello, Adilda. How are you?
I am good, Aurithro. How are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Adilda, and thanks to Filmkopath for giving this wonderful platform to ask you a question and being in this wonderful conversations. Sir, you have trained both in the National School of Drama, Delhi, and in London. And in one of your interviews, you had said that your training in Delhi was more holistic, whereas the training in London was more market driven, which is based on, yeah, this is what I could recall.
Did I say that? Okay.
Yes, sir. And I just want to know, Adilda, like, why do you think such difference exists between the approaches?
Well, I think National School of Drama, the syllabus, the intent behind the training had been to equip the actor to really go deeper into finding to find one's own calling. What kind of an actor you want to become? Do you want to go back to theater? Do you want to not go back? Do you want to do theater? If you do theater, what kind of theater you want to? So there is an approach from, like, we had been taught from Yakshagana to Kalaripaitu to Thangta from Manipur, Nautanki, Parsi theater, Ojapali, you know, all kinds of folk forms and the classical forms, Kathakali, Kudiyattam, and then history of art from cave painting, as I said before, that to modern postmodernism, the history of theater architecture, history of costume, history of art, history of literature, ancient literature, modern literature, Western and Eastern both. So I feel that it gives you a wholesome understanding how human beings have come, they have reached here now. You know, from the time that they didn't know how to paint 3D, you know, they used to always paint on the side, a human being, like stick figures, and how the perception, the brain evolved and all that. Yoga and mask making, carpentry, costume, makeup, all that. And of course, modern acting. If we are taught, if we are supposed to do Shakespeare, then someone comes from England. If you are doing some Russian play, then someone comes from Russia to deal with that. So it was like a huge amount of thing within a very short time. So 3 years felt really short, and I was overwhelmed with the inputs that I was getting. And when I came to England, the good thing about the training that I got in the UK is it's very precise. They know, okay, this guy has to go into the market and has to act decently, if not great. You know, has to be credible. So they have just sort of summarized everything, okay. Analysis, characterization, improvisation, creating a particular scene and do it. And they will teach you how to audition also. So you're precisely being prepared for the market, which is nothing, I'm not saying it's bad. It is the requirement of the time. But I wasn't interested in it. That doesn't make it unuseful. Of course it is useful. It is important. People should live and earn money. I'm nothing absolutely, I do the same. So how can I look down at it? But my questions were different. My question was, why do I have to act? Oh, you love acting. Why do I love acting? You know, break it down for me. Why should people practice art? What happens when, like the question that you asked me, someone asked me that, when you do a role and you come out of it, does it remain? And if it remains, how does it impact my everyday life? And, you know, is it bad or good? All kinds of philosophical, technical question I asked, they didn't have the answer for it. So I had to go back and work with Khalid and my other teachers in Pondicherry and in Delhi. So yes, it was market oriented, not necessarily bad. I didn't say it's bad. I said market oriented for actors to survive, and we can't practice art unless we survive. So, yep.
Thank you, Adil. Thank you so much for this wonderful explanation. Yeah, it's much clear now.
Adilda, just our last question for the day. We are not going to bother you anymore. We have Namrata Guho from Kolkata. Namrata, please ask your question to Adilda.
Thank you, Shubhodipda. Hey, hi, Adil sir. It's a dream come true to see you live here with us. Thank you so much for being here with us. So my question for you would be that recently I got to know that you are in Europe for your current movie shoot. So can you please briefly tell us something about your current project and upcoming movies as well?
I can't say much because I'm not allowed to say much. I'm acting in a film called Bill Bottom, and I can't even say what role I'm playing. Yeah. It's a spy thriller. It's based on which has actually happened in 80s. Akshay Kumar plays the lead. There's Lara Datta, Huma Qureshi, Vani Tripathi, and other Denzel Smith and other great actors, very nice actors. Yeah, so that's about it. And my future projects, there are quite a few. I'm reading 2 scripts which are supposed to be shot here. If I can find some time this year, 2 of them, and both of them are fascinating stories. One film which I'm desperately sort of waiting to start to act in it in April, which would be most probably the biggest film I have done so far, budget-wise, in the lead. Yes, I have done bigger films, budget-wise, but not in the lead. And will be produced by the producers of Bohemian Rhapsody. So I'm just waiting for that to start and preparing for that role. Yep.
We all are eagerly waiting for your upcoming projects, Adil, and good wishes to you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Namrata.
Before we let you go, any message you have for your fans, for us, for cinema lovers, anything which you'd like to say to us?
No, who am I to give you messages and all that, yeah? I just feel that we all need to just look for piece of art, film, dance, music, I don't know what, I mean, any form of art, which just makes us a broader, larger human beings, you know? Makes us empathize with the other who is completely on the opposite side of the spectrum, I think. And we dig out those pieces of art, not to fortify in our rigidity or in our compulsiveness, but frees us from all those. Yeah.
Right. You said, Adilda, that you talk to people who contact you on Instagram and Twitter. And that is what precisely happened with us. We know.
I forgot to mention you. Yeah.
And you responded. You talked to us. There is not even a lot of our work out so that you could judge us, but you chose to trust us. And that really makes us feel really humbled that we talked to you and you agreed, and this happened. It is just still sinking in that this actually happened. So we are extremely humbled, Adilda, and thank you so much.
Don't say that, because I think it is very important that we, especially people, those who are art lovers, rasik, jisko hum kehte hain na, rasik, who understands the rasa. I'm in a profession where there is limelight, you get to see me. And you don't even know the person who looks like, how he looks like the person who directed, say, Mukti Bhavan, for example. Maybe you know his face a little bit, but you don't know who directed Lorne. So just because we're in the limelight, it does not make me somebody and makes you nobody. If I'm nobody, then you are a nobody. If I'm somebody, then you are also somebody. Everybody is doing their part of the work on this planet Earth. So I don't consider myself I'm somebody. No, I don't, because that's the end of me if I do that. And it is difficult for people, those who are in the limelight, not to, because you're given so much of attention, so much of focus, to retain the feet on the ground. But I think that should be normal. It's like the first thing you should do. Otherwise, you'll fly away. A storm is going to come and fly you away. So,
thank you, sir. Thank you once again, and we wish you all the best.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Adil.
Bye. So lovely
Bye.
to talk to you.
So that was a conversation with actor Adil Hussain. What an actor! What a human being! What knowledge and depth does he have? To encourage us to take more interviews like this and keep on making more videos, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. And do not forget to hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.